liberty and justice for all.
It's from Tina, she'll explain it later.
Before we start, before I ask Clerk Spencer to call the roll, just real quick, I appreciate the audience's indulgence. We had executive session tonight. I think it's the fourth time since I've been mayor that we've run over and not met our starting time. Certainly not our intent to do so, but we're in the middle of important conversation that I did not want to interrupt. So I appreciate your indulgence in that and allowing us to start our meeting a little later than originally scheduled. Clerk Spencer, I ask that you call the roll.
Honquist.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Mulliner.
Here.
Brennan.
Here.
Sabatino.
Here.
Deuter.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Leader.
Here.
Palumski.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Toledo.
Here.
York.
Here.
Levin.
Here.
Park.
Here.
14 present, 0 absent.
14 present, 0 absent. We have a quorum. We are in session. On to agenda item 3, receipt of written communications from the public. At this time, is there anyone in the audience who has any written communication they wish to submit? If so, please raise your hand. Anyone who has any information to submit, any written communication? Seeing none, we'll go on to agenda item 4. Public forum. This is an opportunity for anybody in the audience to address the council, specifically the chair, on any item they so choose. When you're called, we ask that you make your way to the microphone to my right, over there by Chief Ruth. Out of respect for the work that we have to get done here this evening and respect for others that may want to speak, we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. If you go over your 3 minutes, I will give you a gentle reminder and ask you to wrap up. Addresses are optional, but we do ask that you state your name for the record as we are recording. Clerk Spencer, at this time, is there anybody who signed up for public forum?
Yes, Mayor, I have one person that signed up, Claude Pagash, 566 West Gladys.
Okay.
Claude Pagach, 566 West Gladys. There was an interesting statement made at the last meeting. The city has on the books $104 million worth of general obligation bonds. Interesting number. But it was also said that that number will increase. Unfortunately for the residents of this town, we also have a school board. We have a park district. School's looking for $158 million worth of general obligation bonds. Last time I checked with the park district, they were running about 12 million. Now y'all can sit up there and say, well, city's below the maximum that they can go out for general obligation bonds. But you don't live in utopia. You've got to know there's two governmental bodies. And the one group that's paying for it all is that resident that elected you. I understand it costs money to run a city. I really do. But if all these general obligation bonds, just what we have, are added up, you're looking at $250 million. That's without interest. So you better start thinking about the projects that are really needed. Because there are needs and there are wants. And unfortunately for elected bodies, it's always wants. There's a whole group of people out there that want something. Is there? Look at your meeting. There's a whole group here that wants something. Do they? So every time you have to take that vote on another 10, 15, $20 million worth of general obligation bonds, remember that school board, they want their big hunk of money, and the park district isn't running far behind. And the only guy stuck with paying for it is that person you call out there a resident. And before you got elected, that's what you were and still are, a resident. And the salaries of those residents you govern are not going up proportionally to your wants. And if you don't consider it, you're going to break them. They got houses, they got mortgages, they got families. They'd like to raise them.
Mr. Pagash, I'd ask you to wrap up your comments, please.
Yeah, I'll wrap them up. Don't forget that $2.5 million on your line of credit.
As I stated, Mr. Mayor, that's all that signed it.
Okay, that's it for public forum for those who signed up. At this time, is there anybody who did not have an opportunity to sign in our sign-in sheet before the meeting but wishes to address the council at this time? If so, please raise your hand. Anyone? Ms. Sullivan, you appear to be trepidatious in your hand raising. I see one. Anyone else? Okay, looks like you're it, Ms. Sullivan.
Kathleen Sullivan. It's good to see that the projects for Southwest Elmhurst 1 and 2 on the agenda last time and this time. Glad to see those moving forward to fix the stormwater issues down in Southwest Elmhurst, or address them. Maybe not fix them entirely, but to address them. Additionally, glad to see the East End pumping station is for the sanitary sewers is going to get some attention. I'm not 100% sure that that one helps my house, but it probably does. I know that during the 2013 event that is referenced in the report, that the stormwater around my house, on the outside of my house, drained about 6 hours after the event started at 4 a.m. But we were still pumping water out of the overhead sewers from our basement were backing up into our kitchen sink, and we were pumping it out a window for 20 hours that day until 2 a.m. So it does affect a lot of people besides just the stuff that flowed into the park. So thanks.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, that concludes public forum for this evening. Agenda item 5, announcements. Any announcements from the dais? Alderman Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Due to some issues related to quorum, our Public Works and Building meeting for next week has been changed. It will be held this Thursday at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Hold on. June 21st,
That's correct.
6/21, 5 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. Any other announcements? Alderman Bram?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tomorrow morning, Tuesday, June 19th, at 9:30 a.m., the first O'Hare, I guess, Fly Quiet Committee meeting, which now Elmhurst it's an official committee, it's no longer ad hoc, and Elmhurst is a participant and has a voice at the table. Again, that's tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. The location is the Chicago Department of Aviation Building, which the address is 10510 West Zemke Road, technically Chicago, Illinois, but right off of Mannheim Road, Conference Room 1.
Okay. Any other announcements? Seeing none, we'll go on to consent agenda. At this time, is there anyone on the dais who wishes to see any item removed from the consent agenda to vote no or provide further comment? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Motion by Alderman Mulliner, second by Alderman Honquist. Clerk Spencer.
Conquest.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Sabatino.
Aye.
Deuter. Aye. Dunn.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Palumski. Aye. Graham.
Aye.
Paludo.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Levin.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
14 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Consent agenda is approved in its entirety. On to reports and recommendations. 7.1, Mayor Morley, that is me. I'm trying to check my calendar. It's because I was on vacation. I did not report on the Memorial Day Parade or the ceremony after, at the last meeting because I was not here. But certainly want to thank all involved for making our Memorial Day Parade fantastic and the ceremony. I appreciate all those who marched and all those who attended this ceremony. It was a credit to our, to the veterans that we lost defending this great country. So I didn't want to not go another meeting without mentioning that. We also have stormwater open houses coming up. This is for updates for two projects, specifically the, what do we call the one south of Bryan? Messiah Lutheran project, and also the Christ United project, the one over there on Adams and Mitchell, I want to say. Those two open houses, are they at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
5 to 7.
Wednesday, the 20th, from 5 to 7 here at City Hall. Mr. Oberg is in the audience. We are doing an old-time baseball game this Sunday at 1 p.m., is that correct? And where we? 1 p.m. practice. 1 p.m. practice? And where is that?
We're at the mall at Elmhurst College.
Okay. Oh, is that the game and the practice? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Can't wait. Yours truly will be participating in my knickers. Knickers, forget it. Last thing, last part of my report, neighborhood roll call. The City of Elmhurst Police Department and their award-winning neighborhood roll call is up and running. And we have one tomorrow at the corner of Eggleston and Fairfield at 6:30. And that's it for me. City Manager Grabowski.
I have nothing to add to that.
Okay. Any other reports or recommendations? Alderman Bram.
Just to reiterate about tomorrow's meeting for O'Hare, and I was just wondering if there is any updates in general from Elmhurst perspective on what we're doing for the Fly Quiet and the IFQ.
I know that Alderman Dunn will be attending the first official, non-ad hoc quiet, Fly Quiet committee meeting tomorrow, but other than that, nothing to report.
Thank you.
All right. Any other reports? Alderman York.
There's also a police roll call on Thursday, 6:30 at Church and Kenmore, too, just to add to the one you mentioned.
Okay. All right. Anything else? On with ordinances. 8.1, Clerk Spencer, I'd ask you to read the ordinance.
An ordinance providing for the declaration of the general prevailing rate of hourly wages for the year 2018 to be paid to laborers, mechanics, and other workers performing construction of public works within the city of Elmhurst, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois.
Okay, to put this before council, I'll ask for a motion to approve the ordinance as read. Motion by Alderman York, second by Alderman Sabatino. Alderman York?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is, was on the consent agenda, the committee report, but it's an ordinance that's required to be adopted in June to put in our ordinance the prevailing wages for said positions, and there is actually no change from the one that's in the ordinance as of September 1st, 2017, but we still got to do it.
Okay. Any other comments? Clerk Spencer.
Conquist.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Sabatino.
Aye.
Goiter. Aye. Dunn.
Aye. Who's fitting trousers?
Leader.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Saludo.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Levin.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
14 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Agenda item 8.1 is approved. On to agenda item 9, other business. Any other business? Entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry.
We're just going to share a couple of positive comments, Mr. Mayor.
Other business. Mr. Honquist, the floor is
Thank you.
yours.
First, I wanted to compliment staff. Poplar Road is a major road in town. They did an excellent job, I thought. I travel that road a lot, and it was done very quickly this summer. I thought it was going to be a much longer project, so kudos to staff for that. And then also I wanted to mention, as I think I have before, but ran into a couple that lives on Washington. If everyone remembers, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, that it's some pretty major rain events. No doubt that it was large enough that some of the folks would have gotten water in the past. And they were thrilled to see both sites there working, and the lowest point of the street received no water. So when I ran this couple, they were beyond happy. They wouldn't have been affected directly, but live close to there. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. It was some positive feedback from folks that have been in some pretty bad ways in the past. Thank you.
Very good. Any other business? I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman York, second by Alderman Mulliner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.